Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is Peter here today and wanted to talk about brewing tea and the brew recipes I'd like to share that work for me for black tea, white tea and green tea. But before we talk about that, we need to think about water quality and why water quality is good. So again, thinking about coffee, we need to really be removing the chlorine out of the water. So at a bare minimum, we would like to see if you could use your tap water and pour it through an activated carbon filter. So that would be the first thing, and that just sort of helps us really kind of allow us to showcase the best that we can out of the tea. We also need a temperature kettle, if we've got one preferably, and there's various ones in the market. If you don't have a temperature kettle, no stress. I'll help you sort of understand what a normal kettle works with. And if you've got a set of scales or at least a set of measuring spoons to help us sort of measure out the tea is also equally cool. So let's talk about black tea. It's obviously one of the most common styles of tea that are drunk on the planet every day. And so with black tea, I like to kind of use a brewing recipe of between 2.5 grams to 3 grams per 190 to 200 mils. If you don't have the scales, then I would be using basically just a flat teaspoon, like a level sort of teaspoon as a guide. The difficulty you will find will be in the leaf size. So if it's a smaller leaf size or a smaller finer cut, then definitely make it level. If it is a whole leaf tea, then it will be definitely more of a heaped teaspoon is what I would be going for. But weighing it out obviously is always going to be the best way if we can. I generally like to then use for my steep times for the small leaf tea, I like to use between 2 and 3 minutes because it will sort of obviously brew a lot quicker and it will bring out a lot more sort of strength into the pot a lot quicker. For large leaf tea or whole leaf tea, I like to go between 3 to 5 minutes. The temperature of this particular tea, between 95 to 96 degrees is what I like to work on, or just off the boil. So pour it just off the boil. And the other thing with black tea is you can pour the water over the tea. So that is actually okay. Now for white tea, it's a little bit different. And so for white tea, it's between 2 and 3 grams again. Now white tea is very light. So this is more kind of moving into the tablespoon sort of genre. So you would need to do a heaped tablespoon as opposed to a teaspoon. And so 2 to 3 grams again for 190 to 200 mils of water. And I would brew between 3 and 10 minutes, but at a lot lower temperature. So we would be aiming between 85 to 88 degrees. So again, if you've just got a standard kettle at home, I would allow the kettle to boil. I'd let it turn off and I would let it stand for about 5 minutes before I poured the water off. Most importantly with white teas is what you want to be able to do is pour the water into the pot, and then I would be adding the leaf to the pot. Never pour the water over the tea. We have a risk then of obviously scalding the tea, so this is very, very important. For green tea, there is a big range, and I'm kind of sort of separating this into 2 types of green tea. We have obviously green tea from China and green tea from Japan. Again, 2.2 to 3 grams for 190 to 200 mils. For Chinese tea, I generally would brew between 70 to 85 degrees Celsius, and I would be between 3 to 4 minutes. And for Japanese tea, I'll be brewing even lower, between 50 to 60 degrees Celsius for 1 to 2 minutes. Again, with these types of teas, I would be adding the water into the pot first and then putting the tea in, and then obviously withdrawing it. The timing is very important, so definitely have a little timer. You can obviously use either your stove or something that's on your phone or an egg timer, whatever you've got in the kitchen, but timing is very important. So there we go, there's some very simple little brewing recipes to get yourself started on brewing both black tea, white tea and green tea. I'm going to brew a honeydew green tea. So this is a Chinese gunpowder tea, so it's a whole leaf tea that's been hand rolled into little round balls, and we've also added to this tea is a really lovely dehydrated honeydew pieces, which I think adds a really nice sort of natural sort of floral sort of sweetness. So following the recipe, I like to use 2 grams of tea. So I'm just going to measure that out here. There we go. 2 grams of tea, beautiful. Now what we want to be able to, with green teas, we want to add the hot water to the pot first. And I've done this at 85 degrees Celsius to 200 mils. So I've got a fill line marked inside my pot. I then take my green tea and then I add it to the pot. I like to give it just a little bit of a shake and a stir to make sure that all the leaves are covered. And then for this particular one, I'll be doing a 3-minute brew time that I've just now started on my timer, and we're off. Enjoying your cup of tea? Continue to keep watching and knowing more, then hit the subscribe button and most importantly turn those notification setting on so that way you won't miss our next installment of A Delicious Cup of Tea. Follow us on socials. It's been good to see you and enjoy your tea. Take care.